Matt Crafton on his inside trying to make a move. We see the 33 of Hornaday making a 3 wide going down the backstretch.
Crafton has a problem. He may be out of fuel, or at least it may have stumbled.
I think his motor stumbled. That's what we talked about on this restart. He loses his spot to Hornaday.
Kyle Busch is loving all of the commotion going on behind him.
He's not breathing easy, though. Remember, he ran out of fuel at Dover. He was one of those trucks at Dover that ran out of fuel late.
Yeah, and there's still 5 to go, so I know he's holding his breath watching these guys struggle for fuel late in the going.
Matt Crafton on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Skinner trying to take that position away from him.
Were we not talking about Eric Almirola just a few laps ago running 8th and not really able to make any ground up on top of that? He's running 2nd right now, Rick.
And Skinner really battling hard with Matt Crafton. Now Hornaday looks to the inside of that 51. While out front, Kyle Busch running in front of Almirola and Hornaday. Busch with almost a 2nd lead now. It's this time when he comes by the stripe. 2 laps of racing to go.
2nd through 5th, they can't work it out side by side. Oh, inside. What a great
81
run.
of David Starr, and there's more contact. Ken Schrader gets into him. Dennis Setzer goes around. The 4 of Ricky Carmichael involved.
And remember the fuel situation. Now we're going to go overtime when we know Kyle Busch has to be low on fuel.
Brett Raymer in the 85 able to avoid Ken Schrader.
That's a hard hit for Kenny Schrader. David Starr came from down on the bottom of the racetrack, and Schrader drilled him.
There's Starr.
A couple of guys having some really solid runs. David Starr had been up the top 10, top 5. Kenny Schrader had made his way to just inside the top 10.
Michael, they're going to red flag this race, and that's probably the best thing that you could ever hope for Kyle Busch, because he's not going to run around here more laps and run out of fuel.
But still, it's a concern, Rick. You know, you think about these restarts and the fact that the trucks are up on those banks and the fuel's running away from the pickup. So I'm concerned for Kyle Busch, as I'm sure he is as well.
Schrader's out of his truck, being helped out of his truck now.
Schrader's a tough guy. He's raced all over the world, but he's hurting right now.
See, David Starr was on the inside of Justin Lofton, it looked like.
Yep.
They make contact. Kenny Schrader comes along after David bounced off the inside wall, was headed back to the outside wall.
That was
Miguel Paludo.
Paludo got into the 92 of Dennis Setzer.
And then Ricky Carmichael came along and got a part of that wreck as well.
So a lot of damage.
See, here comes Kenny.
Out.
I mean, that's just as fast as you're going right there, Phil.
Yeah.
He dove into turn. Wow, look at the 17 truck just slipped through the middle of that. He dove down into turn 1 as fast as he could be going, and he made hard contact with David Starr.
Yeah, upwards of 130 or 40 miles an hour as they entered that corner. Here's real time. Here's David. He hits the inside wall. Now he heads to the outside. Kenny comes by, as you mentioned. He's in the corner absolutely as hard as he can get in the corner. He'd already committed.
Sparks flying.
Kenny has a little limp there.
Little limp, getting out of his truck, looking at the damage. Well, at least he's got a smile.
That's Kenny Schrader. He's smiling.
Yeah, he's smiling,
even though he's in some pain, obviously.
Man, that hurt.
It's like red flag condition for this race. Now, you guys talked about having to park on a little bit of a bank. The good thing is it's about maybe at the most 9 degrees.
Wow, this is a good look at it. You can
Yeah.
see David Starr makes some contact with another truck, and look at the angles.
Yeah.
Schrader had 2 big hits there, Phil. One into the side of Starr, and then the other as he ricocheted into that outside wall.
Now let's go trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. We're sitting here watching TV, and I'm with Eric Phillips, crew chief for Kyle Busch, and just wondering how tight it is. I heard Kyle say, I don't think we're going to make it. You encouraged him and said we're going to be okay, but you were 3/4 of a lap away from the white flag.
Yeah, he just asked if he thought, if we could make it there. I think we're all right. The worst part about this place is the banking. I think we got enough gas. It's just if it picks it up with the banking at this place. But all these guys on this Toyota Tundra done a great job tonight. Had a little mishap in qualifying, but we've been fast all weekend, so see what we got.
How nervous are you really? Come on, give me the truth.
After that deal at Dover, I'm really nervous.
Okay, so that's the truth, guys. Eric Phillips sweating it out down here, trying to get another win for KB.
As we mentioned, at Dover, Kyle Busch was in front, looked as though he was going to run away with it. and problems on the restart allowed Eric Almirola to go by him.
And we're going
his first win.
We're going overtime, Rick.
We are going overtime in the Camping World Truck Series. This is the reason for our 12th and record-tying caution. We're under a red flag condition. Can Kyle Busch make it? The fuel is the question now. We know he's got a strong truck, but does he have enough fuel to make it? The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you by Camping World. The Camping World Destination Recreation Sweepstakes is back and better than ever. Camping World's offering more prizes, more chances to win. Visit campingworld.com and enter it today. By Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms. And by Toyota.
You know what's back and better than ever? The action at Bristol.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the damage to that truck. That is Kenny Schrader's number 52. We're under a red flag condition. Here are the trucks that were involved in this most recent caution. It's a record-tying 12th caution here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Some of those trucks you see are involved are riding along in the top 10, Rick.
Let's take a look.
This is coming off turn number 4. You see the contact between David Starr and the 7 of Justin Lofton. Then here comes the hard contact.
Here's a couple looks that I'd like you to listen to.
Especially this one coming up right now. This is from the inside of the racetrack.
You can hear.
Listen to this right here. Listen to the contact.
3,400 pounds of metal.
And look at the damage to Kenny Schrader's Federated Auto Parts Chevy.
And you know that tire is forced back right into where Schrader's feet basically sit when he's driving his truck. So that's why you saw him limp off. And darn, after watching that impact repeatedly, I'm glad he walked. I mean, that could have been something that he could have really been hurt. I know he's shaken up, but it was good to see him walk away under his own power.
Big hit for Kenny Schrader. The 81 of David Starr involved in that as well.
Yeah, a lot of damage to that Chasco Toyota, new sponsor on board for the first time, construction company out of Texas.
What about some of the guys that have rebounded here tonight? Timothy Peters, after his problems with Elliott Sadler, he's all the way up to the 10th spot.
How about Hornaday running 3rd?
Certainly.
Hornaday.
Top Bodine, we saw Top Bodine fall out of the top 10. Right now he's being shown in the 7th position.
Brad Keselowski, a late pit stop, has him 8th.
Oh, Eric Almirola is sitting there looking at that big scoreboard in the middle of Bristol Motor Speedway and feels good about the fact that he sees that 51 truck up in 2nd, but he doesn't have to look down too far before he finds Todd Bodine, the guy he's racing for this championship. Todd's currently riding along in 7th, and you're just not going to make up enough ground like that.
Eric Almirola also knowing that he's driving for the team that's won this race for the last 2 years with the guy in front of him bleeding.
Well, we're getting ready to go over to lap 202 or 203 before this thing's over, and that's not something that Eric Phillips and Kyle Busch needed to see. When they made that pit stop around lap 31, they knew it was going to be risky. They were going to need a lot of caution flag laps, but that's what they needed to do to win the race. They're in a position to win it, but now they got to go overtime to grab it.
There's our Aaron's lucky dog, Johnny Sauter. If you were Kyle Busch right now, would you not run on the flat of the racetrack on these pace laps, Michael?
I would. That's a great idea, Phil. Just get that thing down on the bottom. That way the fuel pickup is setting more flat, and the gas is setting more flat, and that way the fuel isn't getting away from the pickup. You see, they put the pickup over in the right side of the fuel cell because when you go around these corners, it slings the fuel over that way. You can pick it up the most that way. But when you're going slow, the fuel doesn't sling over there, and therefore the pickup can't grab all that gas.
Let's hear from the man who drove that truck. He's with Adam Alexander.
No surprise, it's been a rough night here at Bristol. David Starr kind of at the beginning of our most recent caution. What happened, David?
Well, first of all, I ought to thank the Chasco people. Our Chasco contract in Toyota Tundra was pretty awesome tonight. And the 7 truck got into me and got on and spun me out. And I got underneath him. He bounced off the wall. Instead of me getting into him, I tried to stay off of it. And when he bounced off the wall, he came back into me. And it was just, I had too much will into it, just lost it. It's just a shame because our Chasco contract in Toyota Tundra, I thought we was going to get a good finish tonight, but it's not to be. So we gave it all we had.
What about the impact with Schrader after you hit the inside wall?
Well, it was pretty hard. My back was hurting me already, and it was a pretty hard hit. Kenny's okay, hurt his foot, but he told me it was not his fault. I came up to him, so he's joking in there, so he's okay. But pretty hard hit. I'd like to say hi to my wife back at home in Dallas, let her know I'm okay, but just disappointed we didn't get to finish that I thought we was going to get tonight.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
What about this move, guys?
I think Matt Crafton was worried about running under fuel. We saw his truck bobble on the very start. Looked like maybe it didn't quite pick up the fuel. So I think it was a situation where he